All right, everyone. Welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter Club. This is the first session today. So let's get going. All right, ready? Let's get the show rolling. All right, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter Club. This is the first day of the Millionaire Recruiter Club, and just making sure that more people are coming in. And for respect for people that are currently here right now, we'll get started. So today is the first day of the Millionaire Recruiter Club, and the reason why we decided to change the time to noon is because, in the recruiting and staffing industry, each and every single moment counts. So it's very important that your lunch break, which is 12 to noon, which is always scheduled, is fruitful. So instead of doing at 2 p.m., we decided to change the time for noon, because noon is it's a great time during lunch to absorb new information to get you going into the next day. So we'll start from scratch. Hello, everyone. If this is the first time that you are tuning in, this is Rendezvous with Ruth, weekdays at noon. Now we have a new show called the Millionaire Recruiter Club, which will be focused on seeking and working with people in the recruiting and staffing industry. And these are people that are looking to start their own business in the recruiting and staffing industry. So you may already be a recruiter, or you may be a VP of sales and you want to start a recruiting firm because you know the business, you've been headhunted so many times, and you understand that without people, there is no organization, right? Or you may want to buy a franchise. Right. So this particular show is for these particular individuals. However, the principles that we're using can be used in anywhere, any businesses. All right. So if you're tuning in, who am I? I'm Ruth. I've been in the recruiting and staffing industry for 18 years and at 11 years as a business owner. Had my own company, sold it, and now I've been traveling around the world for the past 3 years. And right now what I'm looking to do is to give back and also to grow as more opportunities are coming in. I'm the CEO and the founder of the DNA Legacy Companies, where it's a training company that helps other people, other businesses to create a legacy. So we change the mindset of their actual business so that it becomes more culture driven, understanding that, again, without people, you don't have a business or you don't have a company. So we help people to restructure their business from a recruiting perspective, hiring the top talent and being able to keep these individuals in their company for them to grow, which will eventually create a legacy. All right. Secondly, I'm also the CEO and founder of Virtual Assistant Outsource. Virtual Assistant Outsource is a company that specializes in virtual assistants. So we have virtual assistants from all around the world helping businesses to market themselves. So when it comes to editing, when it comes to video editing, graphics, blogs, that sort of thing. We specialize in taking the company and bringing it in the front of the audience. So that's another company that we have. And we also have the Millionaire Recruiter Club, which is a company specializing specifically for recruiters or people that are looking to purchase a recruiting business or get into the recruiting business. We not only help them to become the best in what they do in their industry and to become number one in their industry, but we also help them in terms of building that wealth company in order for them to have that freedom number, which is a number that allows them to retire. All right. Don't like to use the word retire, but a freedom number that allows them to do whatever they want, whenever they want. All right. So giving that aspect, I want to just, welcome everyone for joining in. And again, want to remind you guys that this is specifically for people in the recruiting and staffing industry or people that are looking to get into the recruiting staffing industry, but understand that these principles are business principles and it works for any business. All right. So today I want to talk about the difference between successful recruiters and broke recruiters. So you could tell them, or broke people versus successful people, but more specifically in the recruiting and staffing industry. So one of the things that successful and wealthy recruiters is that they think the same way. They think absolutely the same way, because it's the same principles that everyone uses to be successful. That's for any industry, including recruiting and staffing industry. Now, if we were to use that analogy for sport, right? For Michael Jordan to be the best in the world, what does he need to do? He needs to learn how to dribble, okay? He needs to know how to shoot, and he needs to know how to pass. These are three core principles, right? So if he doesn't have those three core principles, he's absolutely not able to do whatever he's doing. Okay. So even when if there's actually Michael Jordan's biography on Netflix, you could check it out. And one of his mentor and coach, which I also know as well, Tim Grover, specializes in helping you be the best at the basics. Because if you don't have the basics, you don't have a foundation. Therefore, you can't have the success to a high level. Because without the foundation, everything is going to crumble. All right. So it's very important to understand the three core elements of your business in order for it to grow. All right. So businesses, again, most businesses don't know the basics. So it's very important to go back to the basic. Okay. The basic is everything. The basic is the foundation of a successful recruiting and staffing business. All right. So, and also the goal, most people, when they go into business, they're just trying to make a living, right? So there's a difference between making a living and building wealth, okay? This information is about building wealth and how to do so, all right? So the rules are different, okay, for different industries, but the basics are the same, okay? Now, it's very important to keep it simple. You have to be able to keep it simple, okay? Because simple is usable versus complicated is interesting. It's interesting, but it's not really usable because there's so many things for you to do, right? So it's very important to understand that it's important to use things that are usable. And again, by understanding those three core principles in your business, you'll be able to soar in any industry, all right? So what I'm going to teach you guys is not a magic formula. It's things you probably already know, but it's not about whether you know it, but it's about, are you applying it, right? These are the two components, two difference. So you have to be able to say, okay, all right, I know this, but do I apply this? And that's where the switch happens. And that's where momentum takes place. Okay. There's a lot of people that are just watching a bunch of videos and taking in a lot of information. Unfortunately, knowing things is not going to help you. It's applying it that will. Okay, you see many many intelligent people walking around the planet, but are they able to actually, if they were able to implement even a fraction of what they know, they would be 10 times further than where they are right now. Okay, so now I want to encourage you to look at the businesses, look at the principles, and look at your business right now and see whether or not these principles are in your business. If not, take steps right away to be able to take your business, use this principle, and switch that around. All right. So first thing you want to ask yourself is, why do you want to get into business? Why do you want to start your own recruiting and staffing company? Why do you want a franchise? What do you want to buy a franchise? Why do you want to get into your business? That's the number one question that you should have. And the number one question, it must be very specific. If it's wishy-washy, you will have wishy-washy goals. It has to be very, 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 very specific. Okay. So these are the three core principles that you need to understand that every successful business have. Okay. This is where they are. Number one is you need to have a number to produce an excellent working income. Okay. You could call it a profit. What is your profit number? Okay. Number two, you need to create a massive passive income. All right. In order for your business to be successful, you need to create a massive passive income. Okay. Number three, you need to build the value of your company. right? Most people miss that part when it comes to building the value of their company. I'll give you guys an example. I've met this lady. She's been in the recruiting and staffing industry for many years, actually many years. I think even over 20 years. And she came to me so I could help her in terms of building her business and selling her business. So at that time, I was working with a company that we buy and sell recruiting and staffing firm. However, I could not take her business to my partners because the way that she modeled her business, she modeled it in a way that if she leaves, there's no business. Right? She didn't create a system that without her, somebody could easily buy it, and then that way they'll be able to continue with the business. She didn't create a business model that allows her to have the freedom, right? So unfortunately, she had to go to her lawyers to see if there's anything she could do, and there wasn't. She had to, like, now that she had that information, she needed to go back into the industry and work another 5 years to make sure that she's able to sell her company. And she was probably making $5 million at the time a year, right? And she was fine, but she just wanted to sell it, but she could not sell it. Right, so she could have retired and live on what she had right now, but she wanted to make sure that she had a higher number. So she had to go back, work in her company for the next 5 years, restructuring her company to be able to sell it. Okay, so understanding the value, how to increase the value of your company so that you could probably sell it in the future is very important information that most people don't do. All right, so business, being an entrepreneur, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of headache, right? And if you're gonna get into business, might as well just earn a fortune. Might as well just be fucking wealthy. Might as well just go all out because it's a headache. It's a headache. It's a pain in the butt. Yes, of course you love what you do, but not each and every single second, right? Oprah, when she goes in front of the camera, people don't know that behind the scenes, she has to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, read a script for the entire show, memorize few certain things, and she has another event that she has to go later on, do a speaking engagement. You guys don't see the behind the scene. Behind the scene is about 80% of hard work. You guys, what you only see is the 20%. When you see her in front of the camera, but you don't know that same day, she got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get ready for that show, right? So this is what being an entrepreneur is. But look at her now. She's traveling. She's being able to meet the wonderful people all around the world, right? Another example, Richard Branson. Richard Branson, we all love his life. We see him with the models, just going around, his private island that he owns. But if you guys knew that he actually has, in any given day, over 100 lawsuits each and every single month, right? These are the reality of being a business owner. Right. So if you're going to get into the game, might as well make a freaking fortune. Okay. Because the headache is going to come from it is something that, you really want something not to show for it. Right. But at the end of the day, as long as you're working towards your potential and what you really want to do and accumulate wealth, that's what really matters. Right. So you want to make sure that you understand what you're doing and you fully engage in it because it is a lot of work. All right. So business is simple, but it's not easy, okay? Because there are certain principles to do. If you do them each and every single day, if you understand the core function, the heartbeat of your company, all you've got to do is to know those core functions and to be able to do it each and every single day, all right? So assignment for today's is I'm going to ask you guys to write yourself, what is your number? In the next 5 years, what is your number? What is your working number? What is the profit that you want to have in your business, in your recruiting and staffing business in the next 5 years? All right. Number 2, I'm going to ask you, what is the passive income that you wish to accomplish in the next 5 years in your recruiting and staffing business? Last but not least, what is the value of the business that you wish to have in the next 5 years for your business? And if you guys don't know what the value of the company is, means if you were to sell it, how much would somebody pay for it? Okay, so know that number. I know I'm just giving you the numbers right now, but take these numbers, understand these numbers, and I'll be able to help you in terms of moving forward. Okay, now maybe if you could pause this, just right, or later on you could come back and watch this video again. But what I'm going to ask you is to really take it 10 steps further, because as I mentioned, it's easy to write these numbers, and again, you're going to have a long road ahead of you. So if you're going to get into the game, just go in all the way. Be a Michael Jordan in your industry. Whatever niche you are, just even if you're a photographer, just go for it 1,000%. Be the best in the world. Why not? Why not? It takes the same amount of energy to be the last person than the first person. So why not aim to be the first in your industry, right? So in your recruiting and staffing industry, whatever niche you are, aim to be the best and aim to be the first. Okay. So now, by knowing this information, I'm going to ask you one thing. I'm going to ask you, with that number that you've written for your profit, your working number, for your passive income, as well as the value for your company, I'm going to ask you to add a zero behind it. So if your working income was, let's say, 5 million, add another zero, make it 50 million. If your passive income was 1 million, add another zero, make it 10 million. Right? If your value of your company, let's say, was 50 million, add another zero, 500 million, $500 million, right? I know it sounds a lot, but you'd be surprised what you will attract by being able to do so. Okay. Now that you're going to have clarity on what your number is, you're going to have clarity, you're going to have energy, a different energy. You're going to be able to tap into that voice that because if you're able to write these numbers, that means that you have the capability to be able to do so. They say that, like, right now, I don't feel like being the number, like a Michael Jordan. I don't want to go into basketball and start, being the number, because that's not in my thought process, right? So because I don't have that thought, then, okay, no, it's not really something that I'm pursuing or want to do or able to do. But to be able to think, what, I could probably have a $500 million company. Because you have that thought, it means that you're capable. If you were not capable, you would not have had that thought. You know what I mean? So in your recruiting and staffing industry, your particular niche, have that number. And again, this could be used for any industry. Have that number and go for it 1,000%. All right, guys, you could do it. I know you can. Hope this was of value, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. This is Ruth signing out, reminding you that success is in your DNA. Mwah.